Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game. Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day. And I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Today might be the best day of the year because it's the first day of the year. Oregon and the athletics schedule starts today for the Ducks. Actual games will be played and put in the record book for the first time in the 2025-2026 athletics season as Oregon soccer kicks off the fun and festivities tonight against Weber State at Pape Field at 6:30. Make sure to come out to Pape to support a new-look Oregon soccer team and the beginning of the Tracy Joyner era in the green and yellow. That is what's on the docket for later today. We will have a full soccer preview with some returning players for the Ducks. We'll hear from Taylor Bryan. Also, some newcomers for the Ducks. We'll hear from a transfer, Sydney Chura, as well as Coach Joyner. That'll all come later in the show to get you prepared for the soccer opener tonight, at Pape Field. Make sure to show up and support your Ducks at Pape Field. To kick off the show on Duck Insider here in the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. We will have updates on Oregon football and specifically the Duck front seven. As Oregon, they are a stout group up front. As Scott and I were just talking before the show, and I don't know who's going to be able to run the football against Oregon when you look at the front seven of Amari Washington and Bear Alexander on the interior of the defensive line, as you have Tatum Tuoti and Mateo Uiagalelei on the outside of the defensive line, and then you have Bryce Betcher returning at linebacker. I wouldn't want to run in between the tackles either. We'll hear from linebacker coach Brian Michalowski as well as defensive line coach Tony Tuioti coming up in the show today. Coach Michalowski, right after practice yesterday, went to preview the linebacker room. Bryce Betcher, an established returner, but there are a lot of newcomers that are coming in. Well, most of the guys have been here before with Oregon, but looking to see an increased role with the Ducks. There's a lot of snaps to go around in that linebacker room. Could be a different look in utilization of the linebackers than it has been in years past. Coach Michalowski, he spoke with the media yesterday. It's brought to you by Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Better cancer care close to home. Getting an update on Oregon football's linebackers from Brian Michalowski.
When D-Jax was limited for a good chunk of spring and coming off of that, just how much has he been able to do? And when you're calling on him for a bigger role, how prepared is he to take on that bigger role at this point?
Yeah, I think anytime, guys, it's a physical game, right? There's going to be injuries. It's part of it, and you got to really coach them to handle the mental adversity of it, but see the opportunity and challenges. And he's really embraced the time that he had off to focus in on the playbook, just be the best teammate that he could be on the side as well. Really increase some leadership, but he hasn't missed a beat. He's really setting himself up for a great season this year.
What has Braden done over the last year and a half that he's been here to put himself in a position for some playing time this year?
Just attacked every single day with a growth mindset. The mentality that we have in our room, it's got to be with that growth mindset, and you got to be a leader. And so he's just day by day come to work, Really challenged himself to understand the playbook better. Challenged him. He's growing a lot from a communicator, his volume, and we have a saying that volume displays confidence. Just hearing him out there on the sideline and hearing how he's communicating, but it's just all the preparation. It's the day to day, and we're year round with these guys. I mean, these guys work incredibly hard, and he's worked incredibly hard up to this point.
What makes Jerry ready to take on a bigger role on defense, and I'm guessing probably still also have a role on special teams, but when that's been what he's been doing, to probably increase his role there and also take on a bigger role in defense?
Yeah, Jerry's developed himself, and he's been very, very patient, but there's no substitute for the experience that he's had the last couple years, being behind the guys that he's been behind, and a lot of practice reps. I mean, he might be consistently every camp the highest rep count linebacker when it comes to reps out there. He does an unbelievable job staying healthy. So he's been healthy. He's gotten a ton of reps. He had a great spring. He came out in the spring game, had a great spring game. That wasn't a surprise to me. The development process of college football. He's right here, going into his third year in the program, and it's should be Jerry's time.
Coach, obviously depth has been a key theme when talking about this Oregon football team. Can you just talk about the depth that your group has this season and just maybe the overall growth you've seen from them as a unit with only obviously a couple weeks left before the start of the season?
Yeah, depth is really important to be a championship football team, to make those long runs and to, be healthy throughout the season. The thing that I take a lot of pride in is treating everyone like they could be the starter. I mean, there was a time that Bryce Betcher was a walk-on safety that came in a linebacker room that, was a special teams guy sometimes, and I believed in him. So that same belief goes for Will Stratton, Cruz rushing, Gavin Nix, true freshman. And so you just develop every single guy to think of themselves as a starter. We do a great job of having rotations at practice, splitting the team green, yellow. A lot of guys get different experiences with each other. So they're building that cohesiveness. There's going to be things that happen during the season. There's going to be guys that go down, but there's that saying, next man up. But, truly here we are preparing that every single day that we practice in camp with how we rotate green, yellow.
How many guys do you want to rotate to be able to keep guys healthy, to be able to have the production be at the optimal level when they're on the field? What's kind of that number and how close are you to it?
Yeah, it's about who's really ready to play in that moment. There's some teams that play 90% of snaps with two linebackers. That hasn't been the case since I've been here because Jamal Hill is an NFL linebacker. He was a rotational guy. Bryce Betcher was in that room too. We had Justin J. So there's been depth in that room in the past. I think if we can roll with 4 or 5, we'd like to have a lot of linebackers on special teams. It's all about kind of how many guys we can get on the quote unquote bus or the plane at our level. I'd love to travel 6, 7 linebackers if I could, but just prepare each one of those guys to step up in the role when, the opportunity comes.
Both you and Dan had said late in the spring that, you weren't going to go to the portal, that you were confident in your guys and your ability to develop those guys. It's one thing to say it, and it's another to live up to exactly what you said you're going to do. What gave you the confidence? What gives you the confidence that these are the guys that you're committing to them? They committed to you, but you're committing to them, and you're going to put them out there in whatever roles they may have, but you're sticking with your guys. You didn't go out and add somebody else.
I think it's just the philosophy, and I spoke of this in the spring of this is a position that takes a lot of experience and a lot of leadership and a lot of communication. And I think it's best to build from the bottom up. And we had a great signing class with those 3, Braden Platt, Kamar Matudi, Dylan Williams. They all redshirted last year. We believe in those guys. We brought them in here, and we feel like the development's been on the upward trend with them. And so it's just build with from within philosophy. And when you can do that, do it. Like, stick to that philosophy. But I believe in myself as a coach and taking guys from point A to point B, believing in people and not just saying someone's this or someone's that. It's, seeing them for, what they can be in their future. And so see the growth that's happening from the young guys and even the vets in the room right now too.
Yesterday, Coach Lanning talked about the player leadership, the vocal leadership he has seen from this team. He talked about Bryce specifically. You touched on it a little earlier today. Just curious, just looking at your room as a whole, it seems like you guys have a lot of player leadership, a lot of vocal leaders in your room. Can you talk a little bit more about the vocal leadership that you've seen, especially from your room?
Yeah, so we have musts within the inside linebacker room, and it's the first thing when they open up their fall camp playbook, they see their 3 musts. The number one must is to get the defense aligned and adjusted. And so when you're the linebacker on a defense, in a defensive scheme like we run, there's a lot of communication that you have to have with the front, the secondary. So it's a requirement for the job in our room. We're the quarterback of the defense, and so those guys take a lot of pride in that. I tell them at the very beginning of camp, hey, that's the number one must. So if you want to be on the field this year and play linebacker at Oregon, then you have to exhibit that. And so they go out there and they do that every single day. But Bryce specifically, him coming back this season, he's been really focused on just the mental part of the game. Being able to see things, anticipate things, being able to communicate things and lead the defense. And he's done a really great job of being able to pick up his communication.
Just with sticking on Bryce, with him 100% focused on football, did that change any of the conversations or the planning or the focus for him this offseason? And obviously with him, the work ethic from when he came here is probably the through line throughout his career. But what have you noticed in the way that maybe he's changed his approach going into this season?
Yeah, I think it's clearly like an all-in approach that he's had this year to make this a great run for the 2025 Oregon Ducks football team. And he's so passionate about this program and, wants to do big things this year. So, but he's just been tapping into our relationship as much as he can. And it's extra film sessions. It's phone calls, off hours. Talking about how we're going to lead the defense better, or hey, this is how you could bring a younger guy along a little bit better, or hey, you made this check today. That's kind of rehash it. So he's all in. He's all in focus right now. But I enjoy his passion. I enjoy coming to work every day coaching him. He makes it definitely easy for me.
Who else has been working at the Green Dot besides Bryce?
Yeah, so every practice we have 6 helmets with comms. So, and we have green and yellow, and so there's 3 per green and 3 per yellow. So, yeah, when it comes to communication and guys being ready, we're preparing anyone that could possibly have a green dot to have a green dot. It's what I want to be here at Oregon, right, with the linebackers that come out of here, right, is we have a lot of NFL scouts come and visit us during fall camp. They talk about the interviews that they had with Jeff Bossa, and they talk about how, Jamal Hill is doing second year. And it's just going to become a, expectation coming out of Oregon that these guys are really great communicators and really knowledgeable. It's been the linebackers in this system with Coach Lanning. It's just really coming in a format Oregon now.
It's, I think, really interesting to hear that perspective from Coach Michalowski, where sometimes we can get lost in the fact that we want Oregon to win. And yes, absolutely, we want Oregon to win. It's always more fun when the Ducks are winning. And development is a part of winning, but also I think it's important to recognize that college football in Oregon is a development program to get to the next level. And so preparing your student athletes to be accustomed to situations and comfortable in situations communicating where they might not get that same experience at a different university. Coach Michalowski makes it a point well, every linebacker has to be a communicator on this team because we're developing communicators for the next level. I think that's really important, really key to hear from the linebackers coach, Brian Michalowski. We're continuing to stay with the Oregon defense and the front seven when we return. The linebackers, they're stout. Defensive line might be even more so. Hearing from Tony Tuoti when we return on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hear that? The crowd's going wild for all the end of summer fun at Toyota's National Sales Event. Going now until September 2nd. Woo-hoo!
See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hear that? The crowd's going wild for all the end of summer fun at Toyota's National Sales Event. Going now until September 2nd. Woo-hoo!
See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Toyota, let's go places.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano with you here on a Thursday as Oregon football continues to march through their fall camp. Actually, an off day for Oregon football today, but earlier in the week we got to hear from Tony Tuoti, who has coached a lot of really stout players on the front. Coach Tuoti of Polynesian heritage, and Oregon has a lot of players of Polynesian heritage that are getting recognized on the Polynesian College Football Player of the Year watch list. His son, Tatum Tuioti, is on that list. One of the other members of his room, in Mateo Uiagalelei, is on the Polynesian College Football Player of the Year watch list. So is Poncho Lalauulu as Oregon's offensive lineman and center on the watch list, and a defensive back in Sione Laulea. All on the Polynesian College Football Player of the Year watch list. Oregon has 4 of them, all expected to be big parts of this team, 2 of which both, I think, probably have a chance to lead the conference, if not the country, in sacks, the way that Mateo Uiagalelei put up elite sack numbers last year, and Tatum Tuioti has continued to develop throughout his career in the tutelage under his own father. Tony Tuioti, the defensive line coach for Oregon, he spoke with the media earlier in the week on Monday, getting caught up with all things you need to know about the Duck D line from Coach Tuioti.
I'm pretty sure you were in the crowd at the charity softball game to see Aiden pull a split there at first base.
Right.
Just how unique is his all-around athleticism to do all the things he talks about doing, all these various mixed martial arts and swimming and all these other activities that there aren't a lot of 2 eyes and 3 techs out there who can do the things that he does.
Definitely not. I go back to photo shoots when he was during his recruiting visit, and he was doing all these ninja jumps and splits and everything else. And then out there watching them in the softball game, I've never seen a first baseman do that. Not only did it once, he did it like twice, where he's able to do the splits and catch it. But, it's just a testament to the type of athlete he is. He's a big body. He's got position flex. He can. Right now, we're training him outside, similar to Birch, similar to Dorless. And then also on third down, sliding him inside. So, he's got the physical traits to be able to do the job. It's just a matter of him just learning the job and being able to execute at a high level. But so glad we have him. And, he's a guy that can fluctuate anywhere between 290, 305. And, I'm just excited for him to see what he's going to be able to do for us this year.
After the scrimmage, Coach Lanning credited the defense with the win. Just curious what you saw from the defensive side, especially with the battle in the trenches, where you saw the defense have the biggest impact at the line.
Yeah, I think just having all 11 guys in the run game, it takes all 11 guys to be able to stop the run. And then, we got some really good edge guys that can get after the quarterback. When we put them in passing situations, we can allow the front to go eat and be able to, apply pressure on the quarterback and affect the quarterback. And, I think that showed up in the scrimmage. But today the offense got on us. And, that's a testament to, the type of team we have. We always talk about iron sharpens iron. This whole camp, it's been, offense one day, defense the next day. And, I wish we responded better to what happened today. We were put in a lot of different situations. We were in 2-minute situation, 4-minute situation. We needed to stop the offense to get the ball back. And, they got first downs twice, so we lost that situation. So I just love how Coach Lanning continues to put us in situations where we compete. And, today wasn't our best day.
There's a bit of a gap in perception and reality with Bear, at least outside the building, certainly. Mm-hmm. From the young man who you've gotten to meet over the last 8 months, who is the Bear Alexander that the world doesn't know, or that the world has a misconception about because of all the transfers, because of changes, because whatever the case is, they've created a narrative about him. What is it that they should know about him?
Yeah, that's a great question. As we go through the recruiting process, obviously we gather as much information as we can, and there's the positive and there's the negative out there. And when we had a chance to sit down with him, my main focus with him is like, what are you going to do in the building now? That's all that matters. And he's been a great teammate. He's a team first guy. Maury Washington's girlfriend had a baby this summer, and Bear called all the guys together, and they had a baby shower over his house. And, that just shows a testament to what type of teammate he is. He cares about the brothers in his room, and it showed a lot, for him to be able to get a lot of guys together to do that for him. So I think, if anything, people are going to know that Bear's here. We want to recruit team-first guys, and he definitely fits that mold for us.
You mentioned Amari. Obviously, he waited his turn behind older guys, bigger guys, et cetera, until now.
Yeah.
If this is clearly his time, why is he going to be ready 2.5 weeks from now when that time comes?
He's had an opportunity to play with a lot of defensive linemen in the room that are now playing on Sundays. You go back to guys like Taki Taimani, that was a great example for him. And, obviously you had DJ Harmon and Jamar Caldwell were guys that he was rotating with. And, this is his time. It's not easy to come in as a defensive lineman. It's one of the toughest positions to play. You're asking one person to take on 700 pounds at some point, versus double team blocks. And, he's built himself up physically to be able to play those blocks. But he's got such a unique talent in terms of, it's not like a lot of guys that I've had in my career or even seen that have the ability that he has at 330 pounds to be able to run as fast as he can. Today we had a high-speed goat drill, and he's running with the outside linebackers up in the front. To have a guy that big and that athletic, it's hard to find. And he's doing a really good job of understanding the defense. I see a lot of growth in him in the way he communicates and line up guys. He's a guy that we're definitely going to lean on a lot this year, and it is his time. And I expect him to have a big season, and he's working really hard to get to that point.
Now that the transfer portal is a handful of years into its existence, I'm curious for you, has the process changed in terms of like how you evaluate what's available in the portal from that first year when it was the Wild West to what it is now, like when it's established? Like how has your role kind of as a coach gone about just seeing who's in there?
Yeah, when we first came, obviously we needed to fill some positions. Obviously, with what was gone, and the transfer portal is what we leaned on early. We feel really good about the young men that we recruited, the past couple of years, and we really didn't go hard into the transfer portal, even though we lost Jamar Caldwell and DJ. And we feel like the young men that we have right now are where we want them to be in terms of their development. You talk about Tion Gray, Terrence Green, even Jericho Johnson. Like, these guys have completely changed their bodies and are big enough and strong enough to be able to hold a point for us, and we want to develop those guys to be the best they can. So as far as the transfer portal, obviously people are going to look and see if that's a position of need. But at this point for us, we got guys that we feel like we have the depth to be able to play.
To use Dan's term, above the line, below the line. After one scrimmage, how many of your guys do you feel are above the line? And with one more scrimmage to go before the season starts, how many could put themselves there a week from now?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think, right now, at least 6 guys I feel really good about, guys that can play winning football for us. Obviously what we want to be have as many guys as we can to be above the line, but, feel really good about the guys that we have right now. Obviously we got the guys on the edge with Tatum and Mattel that have got a lot of experience with Blake Purchase. But I think this year is going to be, be a season with us to play by committee. Find the right guys. We got Tion Gray and Terrence Green, first, second down, big body type guys that can go stop the run for us. If it's going to be third down or second long type situations, obviously you got Mari Washington, you got Aiden Breland, Bear Alexander, those guys that can go win on the rush for us inside. So, we got guys that are playing above the line that can win for us, and it's just a matter of mixing, matching personnel in terms of what the situation is so that we can go win those downs.
Always important to have depth on the defensive line. We've seen it year after year with Oregon, being able to rotate out and keep your D linemen fresh. Well, that's how the fresh D linemen get after the quarterback and then also stop up the holes in the run game. Coach Tuoti says there's a lot of above-the-line players on this Oregon defensive line. That is Coach Tuoti, brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Better cancer care close to home. Oregon football continuing to march forward. It's about 2 weeks from Oregon football game day coming up on August 31st at Autzen Stadium. It's T-minus, 4.5 hours, 5 hours till Oregon soccer starts off the Oregon athletic seasons at Pape Field. It's game day. We're getting to Coach Joyner when we return after this on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working at our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
We just kind of knew from the beginning that we were family.
They showcased a sense of love that I never had before. I mean, he's not only my parent, he's like my best friend.
At the end of the day, it's all been worth it. I wouldn't change a thing about our lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom? She started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
We are back inside the Country Financial Studios. Duck Insider brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. And it is Oregon Soccer Game Day. The Toyota Women's Sports Schedule Spotlight kicks off the athletics season with Oregon Soccer tonight. Tracy Joyner, her first game as head coach, will be against Weber State at Pape Field at 6:30 tonight. Make sure to get out to Pape. But if you can't, there will be a Big Ten Plus stream where you can watch the first Oregon athletics event of the year. Also, in the Women's Sports Schedule Spotlight, Oregon Women's Basketball announces game day for Oregon versus Oregon State and the renewed rivalry. December 3rd at Matthew Knight Arena, time still TBD, but Oregon will face off against Oregon State in women's basketball on December 3rd here at Matthew Knight Arena. That is the Oregon Women's Sports Schedule Spotlight, brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And tonight, we're going across campus over to Pape Field to watch Oregon soccer get things started. Tracy Joyner, excited. She's somebody who turns programs around, and last year at UC Davis had a really strong season. Now here at Oregon in the Big Ten, looking for Coach Joyner to continue that success with a new-look Oregon soccer group. Hearing from Coach Joyner ahead of opening game day tonight. Coach Joyner.
Success that Sydney's had prior to getting here, just how much can that help? I mean, kind of regardless of the level she was at, how much does that impact her as a player? How much can that impact the leadership voice she has, all that?
Yeah, I mean, Sydney's a prolific goal scorer. She had an amazing career, obviously a different level, but I think it just, regardless of the level, it's really hard to score goals in college. And so she's, an incredible player. She scored over 100 goals in 4 years. And I think what it really does for her is just a whole different level of confidence in front of the goal. And she's a placement striker where she's really dangerous in that she's crafty and she's got incredible vision.
And someone with her academic interests, now that you're recruiting to Oregon with the Nike tie, I mean, how much can that be a help with a player like that who has interests like that?
Yeah, that was an exciting DM that I got from her, for sure. It was the easiest recruiting I've ever done. She, Nike obviously is huge for our program. We've got a lot of players that are super interested in the business side of the world, and having the Nike branding and backing behind us is definitely opening us up to a lot of different recruits, and especially graduate students that are really interested in pursuing degrees in product management, fashion design, whatever it might be, and all the different, arms that Nike has in the world. So yeah, really helpful for sure.
Taylor said obviously when she had that initial conversation with you, she knew she automatically wanted to come back to the program. Obviously being named a team captain, can you talk about what ultimately led to that decision and how important of a piece she's already been to this team, through 2 exhibitions and through the off seasons as well?
Yeah, I mean, right away when I met Taylor, I just big personality, really confident. She's just got great vibes. And just a great level of confidence in terms of what she wants to accomplish. Incredibly ambitious. So I think as a role model for the younger players, she's been invaluable so far. And she just is someone that shows up to compete every day, and it does it with just a carefree confidence. She's really good at being demanding without making her teammates feel less than, if that makes sense. And just a good leader, good communicator, and at the very least always works hard. So even if you're not having a good day, Taylor's someone that's going to show up and put in a shift. So she's been pretty instrumental, I think, so far, and excited for her. I mean, no brainer as a captain, and I didn't have anything to do with that. Sometimes I have to manipulate the votes, but I did not this time. So the team definitely saw the writing on the wall and know that she needed to be in a leadership role.
When you talk about her consistency of effort and what she brings, I mean, as you're setting out these first few matches and trying to establish team identity, set a new tone, how critical is that? Just being tough to play against, kind of regardless of what the scoreboard says.
I mean, it's everything, honestly. That's one of our kind of non-negotiables. Our identity of who we are is being hard to beat. And Taylor Bryan is absolutely someone that's going to lay it all on the line and be incredibly hard to beat. Even though she's an offensive player, being that high up the field and playing with that level of intensity, especially with the defensive mindset, I think, again, really sets the tone for the other 10 players that they have to get through. If she's that first point of contact on the field in a defensive role, and the other team, opposition's got to go through 10 more of Taylor Bryans out there, I think we're in a good spot. So she's doing really well.
You talked about Taylor's confidence level. Talk to me about the confidence level of the team, because it seemed like after the second scrimmage, especially in the second half, that confidence level sort of grew, and the confidence here today seemed to be pretty high as well.
Yeah, we had a great session today, and that was a main focus for us. I said Tuesday, guys, match day -2 has to be always one of our best training days, because tomorrow is typically a day where we, kind of slow it down. We focus on some set piece things. And so after the match, definitely the second half, that was something that I certainly felt like was a point of emphasis for me at halftime, was to really just say, hey, we need a mentality half. I wish I had a better way at articulating what that means, but just really wanted us to compete at a different level. There's a really big difference between working hard and competing hard. I felt like in the first half we were working hard, but we weren't really competing in the way that we needed to impact the game. So that second half, that was something that we talked about, and they did a great job of going out there and implementing it and executing it. And that's like the new standard, right? So every single day at training, we're trying to bring in a new standard and continue to raise the bar. Today was probably our best session that we've had so far in 2 weeks. So in a great spot with confidence going into the first match on Thursday.
Some of these concepts are a little hard to articulate. Can you articulate what's the difference between working hard and competing hard, like for a fan in the stands Thursday?
Sure. I think that there's just a level, I don't want to call it sacrifice, but it's doing the extra, and I think that when you're working hard, you're maybe sliding to keep a ball from going out of bounds, where that, that's just a normal thing that should happen. But if you're walking away from that moment feeling well, I just worked super hard, it's no, that's just a standard. Now it's not just the standard, but now you're getting up after sliding it from keeping it going out of bounds, and you're sprinting 30 yards the other direction to go, transition forward to score a goal. So I never say we're not working hard, because you can tell in their faces, they're sprinting, they're doing all the right things. But I think another big moment is when you're going into a tackle, it's not just to win the tackle, but it's to make sure that they remember that you won the tackle. That is competing to me. Yeah.
For you in match one, you never know sometimes how it can look out, right? You can only wait to see in the practices and exhibitions what it'll look like in the field. What's the most important thing other than a win that you want to see come out of this match one from your team?
Confidence. I think confidence in what we're doing, and really just communication. So that's another non-negotiable we talked about. That's the fabric of who we are, is, being hard to beat, not taking plays off, and our communication. And so that's been a huge focal point for us, is just getting, the glossary and the terminology all together. We've got players coming from all sorts of programs and youth club systems and whatever it might be. So the glossary, the ability to communicate effectively and know that we all are saying the same thing. So that would definitely be a major takeaway, is if I felt like after our Thursday result, we had a really good standard and good basis for our communication moving forward.
We also heard they talked about how they wanted to protect home turf. They wanted to be undefeated at home. Is that a big emphasis for this season, just wanting to defend the home field?
Yeah, I mean, it was for me. That's what I think I kicked off our first meeting with here was, this is our field, and this has to be right here on this field at Pape, has to be the best we perform all season. So whatever happens on the road happens. It's super hard to play away, but this has to be where we feel like our absolute most confident and play our best soccer. So absolutely.
How do you set that tone on Thursday, just to let everybody know that when they come to play here, that it's not going to be an easy contest?
You said it at training. And that's why when we step out here, we have to know that whatever work we put in here is going to be the same level of work that we put in a game. So it can't just be we're going to show up on Thursday night, but we're not going to do the work during the week. So we have to know that when we walk off this field every day, that we are the most confident and that we know what to expect from ourselves stepping onto the field for game night.
You guys have a motto of protection for Pape. I know women's lacrosse had one earlier in the spring.
We don't have a motto yet. We've got some new cheers coming in. We've really invested in the state motto of Oregon, which is Elise volat propius, which means she flies with her own wings. And I felt like that really embodied what we're going to be about, what I'm about, what my staff's about, is empowering our players to be great and to take all the resources that Oregon has as to offer, and soaring high. So the higher that they soar, the higher that our whole team soars and our program soars. So, we certainly encourage our players to fly with their own wings, and hopefully the whole team soars higher together.
I also wanted to ask about, excuse me, sorry. I also wanted to ask about the 4 pillars that your players were talking about. I just wanted a little bit more clarification on that and what they are.
Sure. So we did some workshops this spring with the returning group that we kept, and one of the main things that we focused on was ownership, and that's really, like, again, with all the resources that we have here, just being like mindful that we've got some really cool stuff, and that, like, the way that you prepare, are you getting enough sleep? Are you hydrating? Are you coming in the appropriate gear? Like, whatever you're doing, are you holding yourself accountable and taking ownership for what you bring to the team as an individual? The second one is consistency. I think how you do anything is how you do everything. And your favorite teammates and your favorite friends growing up are the ones that you can count on, and so we really value consistency here, and trying to, again, make sure that our training sessions are consistent so that we know we step on the field for game night, we're going to be just as good as we were at training that day, right, or earlier that week. So consistency is really important. Resilience is one of the other values. And to me, that's just embracing adversity. Like, we know this season's going to be a challenge in lots of ways. We've got a brand new team, and they're all meeting each other for the first time, new coaching style, new staff, like all sorts of different adversities and challenges that we're going to face, and to lean into that and, like, embrace it and know that growth is coming on the other side of that. And then the last one is gratitude. And I think that right now, like, in a world of excess, it's really hard to be grateful and present for what you have right now. And the players work super hard to put themselves in a position to be here, including the staff. And this is like the pinnacle for a lot of us. And to just be really grateful for the people around you that helped you get here. And being grateful for how hard you work to put yourself in a position to be here. And just, the grass is not always greener, and just really being grateful for, that you put your laundry on a loop and somehow it comes back the next day folded and cleaned for you. Like, someone did that for you, and just being grateful because we have so much here and it's so exciting. And being a coach that's kind of come from humble beginnings, like, that's not lost on me. I don't want it to get lost on our players. So we very much value gratitude and being grateful.
How do you assess the play so far from your keepers in the exhibition games?
Goalkeepers are doing good. I mean, I think, Kaylee's also now a captain. This is her second program with me that she's been a captain at, which is awesome. And Gia, Anna obviously had like an early injury, and we're hoping that she comes back in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I mean, our goalkeepers are phenomenal. And goalkeeping to me in the women's game is like one of the most important positions on the field. And they've been training with a lot of confidence. Kaylee, and in particular, has got a ton of game experience, which is really helpful, especially working with Gia, who's a younger player. And yeah, we're hoping to get Anna back and get in the mix again.
Game day. It's been so long since we've been able to say that. I'm so excited for Oregon soccer to get back onto the field tonight at Pape at 6:30 against Weber State. Hearing from one of the experienced returners for this Duck team, you heard Coach Joyner say it, a team captain, when we return after this on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hear that? The crowd's going wild for all the end of summer fun at Toyota's National Sales Event. Going now until September 2nd. Woo-hoo!
See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Toyota, let's go places.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hear that? The crowd's going wild for all the end of summer fun at Toyota's National Sales Event. Going now until September 2nd. Woo-hoo!
See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Toyota, let's go places.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, The harmonies on the piano, the sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, gearing up for Oregon soccer game day tonight. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. We heard from Coach Joyner, and somebody who was on the team last year, transferred in to be a part of this Oregon program, and decided to stay a team captain, as Coach Joyner said, elected by her teammates. It's going to be a tenacious Taylor Bryan returning to this Oregon group. Let's hear from Oregon's sixth-year returner, Taylor Bryan.
What do you feel like you guys know now that you didn't know a week ago before the two exhibitions?
What do we not know now? I mean, I feel like before the two exhibitions, like we were going into our first week of practicing, so I felt like this was a whole new team. We all didn't know how each other played, so I feel like after the two exhibitions, we realized that we have a lot of key components and everybody plays like a really good role on our team, and I feel like everybody leads by example and wants more for this program. So I feel like we just realized how much that we can come together in just such a short period of time, so it's exciting.
It sounds like you know the puzzle pieces are there that you need.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you in terms of fitting the puzzle together?
I feel like that really just takes communication, grit. I mean, our 4 pillars that Tracy talks about, just being consistent, being hard to beat, and putting all of those pieces together. I mean, like you said, we have the pieces, and putting it together is really just going to take the older people being leaders, communicating, and helping the younger ones just get used to playing in this type of environment and just being encouraging and uplifting each other.
How do you feel like those 4 pillars kind of sets the standard and the identity of this team? And do you guys feel like you know what that identity is heading into this first match on Thursday?
I mean, what Tracy always says is, like, if we didn't have our jerseys on or if we didn't have our O on, like, how would we be able to, like, point ourselves out? And, like, those are things like no easy tackles, going into everything, being consistent, like being the same team that we are on Thursday going into Sunday, and things like that. So I feel like we all want to win. So I feel like we know that to do those pillars, like, is just what's going to bring us together.
For you, go ahead, Jack.
Named a team captain before the first match. Take me through the mentality, as a lot of players are going to look to you as the team captain. What sort of the leadership traits that you're looking to bring come match 1?
For me, just energy and over-communicating. Even when I know I'm not having my best day, I know if I'm loud and everybody hears my voice, that gets people pumped up. And just using my speed and, like, energy, whether it's my voice or just my body language, I feel like is a way that I could bring myself together. But everybody else is a leader. Like,
That's Taylor Bryan talking about Oregon soccer leading up to this game day. A little bit of technical difficulty on that, Taylor Bryan. We're going to transition to one of her teammates now in Sydney Chura, who is also a newcomer on this team. Bryan came in last year. Chura, an NAIA National Player of the Year and NAIA National Champion. Coach Joyner said she scored over 100 goals in 4 years. For those doing math at home, that's 25 goals a year. That is a lot, and she could be a big part of this new Oregon offense for Coach Joyner's team on the pitch starting tonight. Sydney Chura getting to learn some of the new members in green and yellow.
Where you guys are at in terms of getting the puzzle to all fit together, and how much different, better, whatever do you feel now having those 2 exhibitions under your belt?
Yeah, it's great. I feel like we've been able to mesh and we still have a lot of work to do. 2 exhibition games were definitely a great help. I was lucky enough to where I could work hard, got here in the spring, put in a lot of work, and even the difference from the spring to now with all of our new pieces, it's really promising and super exciting, and we're ready to put it to work on Thursday.
Where do you guys feel like you still need to grow, obviously, heading to this week 1, and where do you feel like you guys have things kind of figured out, at least where you want to at this current moment?
Yeah, totally. We've been working a ton on defending. We want to be just killers defensively. We want to be super hard to beat. That's one of our pillars. We always talk about how we can improve communication. Communication is key always, and that's definitely one piece that we can continue to pick up.
For you to transfer from the NAIA, obviously, to the D1 level, just how much does this story kind of motivate you to see the confidence that, again, you can go from a lower tier to a higher tier? And what's kind of the adjustment process been like for you? Is it normal? Has it been a little bit of an adjustment period? What's been like?
Yeah, totally. I graduated early so I can get here in the spring. I'm super grateful I was able to get here in the spring. I had a lot of work to do. I was in that gym. I was working on it defensively. I'm battling out of the air. The jump was definitely a jump for real. But I also feel a lot of gratitude to be here. I've worked so hard the last 4 years. Like, I kind of did everything there is to do at the NAIA level. I won my natty. I won Player of the Year. This is kind of like the natural next step for me, and I'm like just grateful that the NCAA granted it for me. And I also feel a lot of responsibility, like, to kind of raise up like the image and whatever like of the NAIA. I know like all my teammates and everyone across the NAIA is watching me as a great example now that this rule is in place. So it's also like super motivating, like kind of having that 12th man behind me.
Yeah, regardless of the level, success is success.
Yeah, totally. Being a 5th-year player, having that experience, I won that national at the NAIA level. Then I also won one in the UWS in a summer league. Having that experience coming in as a 5th year, even though the level might be a jump, I adjusted pretty quickly. I know a lot of the girls look to all the 5th and 6th years as a great example, and I'm really happy to be that for this team.
I mean, can you say, hey, I know what winning looks like. Here's the standard. If you ever feel like it's lagging or anything like
totally,
that.
Yeah.
And regardless of what level it was at, it resonates.
Yeah, absolutely.
With this being your first Division I game, what are you looking for out of yourself specifically? Especially, do you expect there to be sort of a learning curve between the NAIA and the first Division I game?
I think I kind of busted out of that learning curve in the spring. Coming here in the spring quarter, it definitely took me a couple weeks to really adjust. Like physicality, balls out of the air, speed of play were 3 like big adjustments. But I play every summer against Division I girls at home. Like I know my level. I could have gone Division I right out of high school. Like I know my stuff. Like I'm confident, and I'm just gonna bring that attitude to this team and to the game on Thursday.
Why did that make sense to go to that level initially, though? Then.
My mom played volleyball at Michigan State, so Big Ten has like always been my dream. I had a Big Ten offer coming out of high school, but I decided to go NAIA to really focus on my degree. I studied fashion marketing, but I've always been very artsy. And then Oregon also was a supernatural academic fit as well. So I'm really proud of my journey to really like focus on academics and like really push and achieve great things athletically as well.
Can you speak more to your academic interest? Just what sparked that initially, and kind of what are the goals?
Yeah, totally. My mom is a graphic designer, and then my dad works in auto racing. And so she played volleyball at Michigan State. My dad ran at Northwood, both in Michigan. So big athletic family. My mom's always been super artsy. I've always been an artsy girl, like love drawing, love painting, like ask the girls. I brought my sketchbook on our little retreat to the coast. So I did fashion marketing at SCAD, where most of my projects were geared towards the athletics industry. Even though my program was really luxury based, that's not necessarily the sector of fashion I care that much about. And so I'm super excited to study sports product management here at UO to kind of get deeper into the sports and outdoor industry.
Natural.
That's Sydney Chura, who is multifaceted both athletically and academically. Oregon was a great fit for her to come and join Coach Joyner's squad and be out at Pape Field, including tonight, getting you geared up for Oregon soccer and the first athletic event of the year when we return on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs, and for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working in our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Closing out Duck Insider on the first Oregon Athletics game day of the year. Oregon soccer tonight against Weber State at 6:30 at Pape Field. If you cannot attend in person, it'll be on Big Ten Plus. It's a new-look Oregon team. There's 23 different newcomers on this team. 9 of them freshmen, 14 of them transfers. 6 of those transfers came with Coach Joyner from UC Davis. We already talked about Sydney Chura, who was the 2024 NAIA National Player of the Year and won a national championship at the NAIA level last year. Jade Hawley was one of those UC Davis transfers. She's new to the team as well. She led the Big West in assists last year. Oregon has a pretty new-look soccer team that'll be out on the pitch tonight. I'm really looking forward because the energy, the soccer offices are right across the hall. The energy from the soccer offices is palpable ever since they have come in and taken over. Joey will be back with you tomorrow. Jorgie also be joining us on Duck Insider, getting you geared up and recapping soccer. See you then.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening.